Welcome in GT Counter Podcast, Week 4 college football recap. But first and foremost, we are the only podcast that goes out and shoots a 55 in a scramble just to lose by 10. Tough scene out there in East Texas. Grayson Winters, how are you doing, sir?
What's up, man? Bryson DeChambeau would be quite impressed with the score that was posted for a W. Yeah, it was something like I'd never seen before. Yeah, it was some grade A lying, but the boys had a good time. The boys
Nobody had more fun than us.
no the boys were buzzing. That is for sure. So
Absolutely. And you walked away with a new golf bag. Like, have you decided what you're going to do? Are you going to switch everything over? Are you going to keep a backup bag in there? What's the plan for the new bag?
I have not made an indefinite decision, but I know my father-in-law really needs a golf bag, and I just got a new one for Christmas. So it's hard to be a hard decision to switch to that golf bag solely because my wife bought me the other one. So it could be an
Well,
interesting conversation.
you got to keep the family happy for sure. So I wish you good luck in making that decision. I think we all know what the right one is, but good luck in making said choice. So it's going to be a big weekend here coming up. But before we get to that, we've got to recap the week that was. Do we want to start with the good or the bad here, G? We can start with Clemson. We can start with Florida, or we can start with OU cheating their asses off. I'll let you decide on where we go first.
Let's run Texas Tech Utah. Let me go out of left field.
Okay, I like that. Texas Tech goes in to Rice-Eccles Stadium and plays a truly ugly football game against Utah. That in years past, correct me if I'm wrong here, but in years past, Texas Tech does not win this football game. Just the style and the way the game kind of laid out. It just is not a game that Big 12 Texas Tech teams of years past would have won. Instead, they win this one going away by 24 points, 34-10. Bear Morton gets hurt in this game, doesn't play the second half. And Texas Tech looks better with Will Hammond in there, a redshirt freshman, played last year a little bit. Kid might be a stud. So I'll kind of turn this thing over to you. I have my thoughts about this game for sure, but what's to say more about Texas Tech or Utah?
I think that Texas Tech has kind of entitled themselves that they will be in the Big 12 championship game, and it's just a matter of who they're playing against. I think they're good. Do I think that they're good in an outlook of other teams in college football, like your core top 5 or 6 teams? Probably not. Defensively, I think they played really well, and they schemed Utah really well. Dillingham tries to do a lot of that motion stuff to hit big bombs and get coverage mistakes, and Texas Tech kind of stayed at home, and they seem to play a lot of soft zone and kind of make Utah have to drive the ball. And they did a really good job of that. Now, Texas Tech, my biggest key point for them is that you go to Utah, you're on the road in a wild environment, and it's a 10 a.m. kickoff, and the student section isn't as loud as it's going to be at 7 o'clock or anything, but you have 7 false start penalties. There's no silent snap count. You're clapping, and it's just bad. Procedurally, it's just bad. We've got to be better than that. That my biggest outlook on the game is that, yes, Texas Tech won. However, there was a lot of sloppiness that can be cleaned up before they actually have to play, an uber competitive team. I think Utah is good, but I don't think they're top 25 by any means. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at on that.
It's tough for me because I was a big Utah guy before the season. I picked them to win the Big 12. So is this game bad for my agenda? Is it bad for my Devin Dampier sleeper Big 12 player of the year agenda? Yeah. We took a hit. We took a hit on Saturday. I think a lot of that is Texas Tech's defense. They hit on guys in the portal they brought in. The kid from Stanford they brought in on the edge, as well as Romello Height, who is the defensive end. Also, they got from Georgia Tech. Hit on both of them. It's very, very clear to me that defense they spent literally tens of millions of dollars on, they hit. So good for them in that regards. And the quarterback, I think they might have to play Hammond going forward instead of Baron Morton. That in the second half, Utah's defense was, I mean, say what you will about their offense. Their defense is still vintage and very, very good. And in the first half, Texas Tech couldn't do anything on them. And yet you see in the second half, Will Hammond moving the ball up and down the field. It was kind of shocking to see. So the big reason why I was a little lower on Tech was because I wasn't sure that if Morton got hurt, they would be able to fill it in. Yeah, they might just be better without him. So I'm interested to see what they do going forward there. But without a doubt, I mean, this is your favorite in the Big 12 moving forward. I do agree. What's left to be determined from here is who plays Texas Tech in the Big 12 title game instead of is Texas Tech getting there. So yeah, tough for my agenda though. Not a good agenda day there for me in this game.
And I think one thing that Texas Tech really excelled in defensively is not only the good coverage and staying home, but they kept Dampierre in the pocket the whole entire game, and he's not gonna flex on you with the arm. He's a mobile kind of guy. He's definitely not an NFL talent, but I could see him. He could probably go CFL and be a superstar in the CFL. But he's more of a mobile quarterback, and if you keep him in the pocket, it shows that he didn't have a horrible game or anything, but he threw 2 picks. He'll throw you the football. I mean, so it's like Mateer. If you keep Mateer in the pocket, he'll throw you the football too. So
Exactly. Yeah. So I mean, Texas Tech is who we thought they were, and Utah maybe slightly less so. But look, there's a ton of football left, and it's very clear that they didn't play their best game here. So I'm not going to give up on them quite yet. But yeah, Texas Tech, impressive, impressive win there in Salt Lake City. Let's just go ahead and go right into Oklahoma here. They beat Auburn 24-17. Uh, Weird game is kind of the best way I would put it in terms of there was just no flow. Like it felt so choppy. The game was honestly tough to watch because the offenses really weren't doing all that much. Every time you turn around, Jackson Arnold's getting sacked. And then, it's just a grimy, gross football game. Auburn actually takes the lead in the fourth quarter, 17-16, before Mateer drives OU back down the field to take the lead with just over 2 minutes left. And then they force a safety by sacking Arnold in the end zone for the 10th time in the game, which is kind of ridiculous. 10 sacks, school record for OU there. And they win by 7. 7. They were favored by 6.5. They win by 7
Vegas
in this game.
They always know.
They do. I think there's a couple of takeaways here. We can start with from the team side, and then we'll get into the cheating part of it, if you will. Both these offenses, I think, are pretty disappointing thus far. Neither of them, they both have their distinct weaknesses. Auburn can't throw the football. You saw that with Jackson Arnold missing countless deep balls to Cam Coleman down the field, Eric Singleton down the field, just couldn't connect on the deep ball. And then OU still in non-Mateer go do something plays, cannot run the football. That offensive line cannot get push. They just can't do it. So there's distinct weaknesses for both teams. And both defenses, I think, took advantage of that. Obviously, it was a very low-scoring game. Is the ceiling lower on these teams because of that? On Auburn, maybe more so than Oklahoma, in my opinion. But I don't know. I just came away pretty underwhelmed by both offenses.
Yeah, they're to start off with Auburn here for me, it's Arnold just holds on to the ball way too long, man. He just held on to the ball so long. I mean, 10 sacks, reflecting on how good the pressure actually was. How many of those sacks were after 3 seconds or 4 seconds of him holding on to the ball? Probably 6. I mean, not to discredit Oklahoma's defense, but Arnold's over there playing patty cake. I mean, you might as well give him a deck of cards to shuffle back there because he wasn't throwing the ball anyways. It was just bad. I mean, he's just not a good football player. In my personal opinion, he's just not the guy. But some people would wish they were him. At least is what he told the OU fans as he walked off the field. Sorry, I had to throw that one in there. That one really
No, that's good. I mean, in reality, a lot of them would because he's making a ton of money to go be quarterback at Auburn.
Oh yeah, 100%. So yeah, it's bad there. A lot of OU's problems running the ball are, their offensive line is not very good to start. And, their starting running back is true freshman Blaylock. I mean, Cade Otton hasn't played at all any marginal snaps all season long. And John Mateer is just, you can't run your quarterback. They ran him 10 times. You can't run your quarterback that much. It's just, yeah, it's a lot.
Yeah, and the Ott thing is weird. Like, what are you spend all this money to bring him in from Cal, and he hasn't touched football hardly at all. Is he still hurt? Like, is he just not as good as they thought he was? Like, that part has been so confusing to me because last year he was really good at Cal, and the year before that he was really good at Cal. But we haven't seen him, so I don't know if he's regressed, if he's hurt. Like, what's the deal? I wish Oklahoma would come out and say something because I'd rather at least know that he's not right rather than just guess and be like, why are they just playing freshmen and why can they still not run the football? Like it's concerning. So,
I like OU from a standpoint. I think they're a good football team. I think when it comes to the meat and potatoes of their schedule, they're going to struggle because this offensive line is just not good. I mean, I would probably say a bottom 4 offensive line in the SEC. Maybe bottom 3. There's very few offensive lines probably that are worse than these guys.
I mean, South Carolina comes to mind, but beyond that, like, there's not a ton of other teams that I would pick below them. Say what you will about LSU's offense. I don't think their offensive line is the issue there.
Yeah. You lay Vandy down there with their offensive line play.
Yeah, but even then, I mean, they're running the piss out of the ball. And part of that is Pavi is a madman. But, I mean, for their system, I mean, their offensive line functions better than Oklahoma's does. Maybe Arkansas, because they can't protect Talon at all, but they get yards.
Yeah, it's just OU has their own problems, and it will come to show when they play a defense like LSU or a defense like Alabama or a defense like, you can say it,
Texas defense. Say what you will about their offense. Defense has been pretty good.
Yeah. But you know what? They get a bye week this week to regroup. They get a bye week next week against Kent State, so they'll play the backups that week. And then they get UT at 5-0 in the frickin' Cotton Bowl Stadium.
That's all you could ask for if you're an OU fan. Couldn't have scripted it any better, regardless of what it's looked like along the ways and the challenges that have, come with this season. You're 5-0 going into Red River, like you're signing up for that every single time. Every time.
This looks extremely familiar to UT's season 2 years ago. 2 years ago when they walked in 5-0 into Red River and OU ends up beating them. And it looks extremely, extremely familiar to the situation that we were in that game.
One team's kind of skated by on a big win, looked a little bit shaky other than that, because that was the year Texas beat Bama.
Yeah.
And then Dylan Gabriel ran it down their freaking throat in Red River.
Yep.
So I don't know.
A lot of similarities there.
There is. And we'll get to Texas here in a minute with the Florida of it all. But, I mean, that's going to be a fascinating Red River game, especially after what happened last year. I mean, we're in for it this year.
Yep. And this is why tickets are selling and starting at $600 a pop. So if you guys want in, you let me know. I'll give you guys a quarter, give somebody else a quarter.
Yeah, can like 4 people split one seat? We'll just take turns out in the concourse and out in the State Fair.
I have no problem sitting in the State Fair for a quarter for 12 minutes to walk back in and go in. But I want like the fourth quarter. You guys, I'll pay $250 for the fourth.
Yeah, we'll pay premium for the fourth quarter spot.
Bingo.
I think the other thing that came out of this game is the fact that the SEC officiating, the big whole officials tab had to come out and apologize to Auburn because they incorrectly officiated a play in which Oklahoma scored a touchdown. They won by 7. And officials incorrectly did not flag Oklahoma for illegal substitution whenever they tried to run, was that Isaiah Satania off the field? But he ended up like staying short of the sideline, and nobody's out there covering because they thought he subbed off, and he scores a touchdown to make it 10-3. And all the OU fans that we know, Grayson, you've seen them, they're like, oh, see, you pointed at the official. The official told them, yeah, you're good. You're on sides, bud. It's like, well, but yes, it was officiated wrong from the start because that shouldn't have even been allowed, because when you go to jog off the field to sub off, you get off the field. They made that rule change a few years ago. And so many people are saying, maybe myself included, that, maybe it's just cheating ass OU, and they had to cheat to get by little old Auburn and poor Jackson Arnold, who was sacked 10 times and still almost won a football game. Because if you don't get that touchdown, then all of a sudden Oklahoma's down 17 to 9 instead of it being 17-16. And all of a sudden, things look very different. So I don't know. I'm just saying.
You're telling me the SEC officiating is bad? Oh man, I would have never known.
Never guessed it.
I would have never guessed it was bad or bias or anything. I would have had no idea.
Grayson, who was the crew that was in South Bend for Texas A&M and Notre Dame?
SEC officiating crew.
Oh, I would have never guessed that.
It was the SEC crew. The week before we had the ACC crew at Miami. So, we just like that. When you don't have a conference, you just bid to the other team. You think we'd hire like Big 10 officials or Big 12 or something when we're playing a team and not give them their conference refs, but because in the bowl games they don't ever do. They always pick an officiating crew that's not affiliated with either of the schools. Yep,
that makes sense. If it's Notre Dame, A&M, it's like, yeah, let's go get the let's get the Big 10 crew in, or let's get the ACC crew in, or whatever. It's like, that makes sense, but that's neither here nor there. But yes, SEC officials potentially corrupt.
Can we talk about one other thing on this before we get off the topic?
I would love to.
I think it's a little bit of a drastic bump to bump Auburn out of the top 25 after a 7-point loss and move OU to 7. I mean, you move OU up. What did they move up? They were 13, so they move up 6 slots.
6 spots, yeah.
And Auburn moves down 10? Or no, 11, because they get bumped out. Unbelievable.
Steep. It's very steep.
I'm
not sure I agree with that either.
Notre Dame could never get that treatment. I'm sorry. I feel for Auburn fans this week. We could never get that treatment. We didn't even get bumped out of the top 25 with 2 losses.
Dude, there's a guy who votes in the AP poll who still has Notre Dame 10th on his ballot. 10th.
As he should. We are one of the top 10 best teams in the country.
Yeah, but that's what power ratings are for, not what rankings are for.
And I would agree.
That's why Vegas exists, so you can bet on these things.
Yes. Well, it's going to be okay because we just hope that Notre Dame can score 55 points. As Marcus Freeman said, it doesn't matter as long as we score 50 every week. So it doesn't matter what our defense does because he tried cover 1, cover 2, cover 4, cover 6. He played clouds. He did everything. He said, really frustrating when nothing's working. Well, I wonder why.
The Chris Ash experience, my friend.
Ash experience. It's terrible. Anyways, okay.
You know what else is terrible? Clemson. Clemson is terrible. They lose to Syracuse 34-21. They were 17-point favorites in this game, favored by 3 scores, and they lose by 13 points. As Dabo just kind of lost everything here, like he went on this big. Did you hear his press conference from earlier last week where he goes in for like 13 minutes about saying how Clemson, if they're tired of winning, he'll just move on to somewhere else, and he's not ready to go sit on a beach yet.
He said we're gonna go. He goes, we'll go 6-5.
It's like
we very well could see Clemson 1-10 play or 1-9 playing South Carolina, 2-8 South Carolina in week 11. in rivalry.
Sign me up for that.
The 10 a.m. game on Cartoon Network for the boys.
Yeah, that oof. South Carolina also big oof.
Yeah.
But I mean, I was down on Clemson to start the year. I thought some of the they were getting first place votes and national title picks, and I thought that was a little bit bold. I didn't think they'd be 1-3.
No.
Did not think they'd be 1-3. So
I didn't think I wouldn't have put on my bingo card that they'd lose to Syracuse or Georgia Tech. I mean, I like Georgia Tech where they're at in current moment, but that wouldn't have been on my bingo card.
And they were down 16-0 to Troy in the game they did win. So they've been down in every game they've played by multiple scores. I maybe not. Actually, I think LSU was the only game they weren't down multiple scores in because they were up in the first half. So
I think that this Clemson team, and I hate to say it, I think they only get worse. I think that I saw Clemson give up against Syracuse this past week.
I wouldn't be shocked if they did.
Stop trying. The wheels are falling off, and this is going to kill Cade Klubnik's draft stock. Murder it.
He might have to go back to school.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, he doesn't have a choice. He's liable to enter the transfer portal. Him and DJ Lagway, both of
them. It wouldn't surprise me if Lagway shut it down.
I don't
because it still looks like he's a little hurt, and maybe Klubnik's a little bit dinged too. But I mean, they are prime candidates because they've both only played 4 games. Prime candidates for after a bye week being like, yeah, I'm good.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Medical red shirt still in.
Yeah. It is, and it's crazy because you still get, like you said, the 4 games and you can redshirt even if they don't portal. Yeah. They're just 1-3, and it's like this season's already cooked. You look at the schedule in front of you, it's like, look, we'll just try to get some other guys some reps, and we'll try again next year. But Lagway, and same thing with Klubnik. Honestly, they need the reps because Lagway, you can tell he's not seeing the field right now. And you can tell with Klubnik, he's starting to get antsy in the pocket, not really trusting anything. And I know some of his receivers were out, but they were pretty healthy yesterday, and they got their doors blown off.
Yeah. It's sad because I really like this Syracuse team, but I think without Steve Angeli, they're just not it. I think that Clemson caught them on a bad week because when Steve's playing, this Syracuse team is very competitive. I mean, they played, Tennessee covered, but they didn't cover until late. This Syracuse team is not a bad team in the ACC. They're an upper half team in the ACC. And I think
Angeli
down bad.
Is Angeli out of eligibility? Can he get a medical for this year, I guess?
He probably could get a medical, I believe. I believe he should be able to.
He was cooking.
Yeah, but he friggin' Achilles.
Yeah, he blew his Achilles. Yeah.
I mean,
that stinks.
He might never come back the same.
I wouldn't say his game wasn't necessarily athletically based. So if anybody's got a chance, it'd be him. But that's a tough one.
He's a grade A pocket passer. I mean, he is.
Yeah.
So.
Yep. Shall we talk about the blowout of the day? Indiana beating Illinois by 53 points. Signetti, man. That was something to see. And granted, I know Illinois they lost their top 6 in the secondary, so it got a little out of hand late and this, that, and the other. But I mean, it might not have been 53, but Indiana, even if Illinois was healthy, probably still wins by 30.
Yeah.
So, I mean, this was just a generational beatdown.
Yeah. And Mendoza's the number 1 player on the board right now to win the Heisman on the watch list. And he is the number 1 rated quarterback in PPF. And Kurt Signetti is a freaking magician. He has awoken the fan base of Indiana and brought this team single-handedly back to life. And me and you talked a little bit about this before the pod. I would almost guarantee he's not at Indiana next year. I bet that he's going to get one of these SEC job openings, and he's going to be deuces. Whether that's Arkansas, whether that's Florida, whether that is futuring LSU to just be god awful the rest of the season when they play actual good teams. Whether that's the LSU job if Ryan Kelly gets fired this year after they freaking lose every game the rest of the year, outside of like South Carolina, but everybody else, yeah, it's gonna be interesting. I think Indiana is a good team, and I think there's a good chance they could find a way into the playoffs again, exactly how they did it last year.
Wouldn't shock me at all if they went 10-2. They go 2 Oregon, 2 Penn State. But I mean, I don't think Illinois. Yeah, I don't think Illinois was a top 10 team by like power rating. Obviously, they were +7 against Indiana, so that implies way more than just home field. But I mean, in Illinois, by any metric you would look at, that's a top 25 team in football going into last week, and they housed them by 53. I mean,
they did the same exact thing to Nebraska last year at this time of the year.
Yeah,
laid the wood and hammer down on them. I'm telling you, Kurt Cignetti knows he's a good coach, and I mean, when his team has athletically can compete with the other team they're playing against, which they athletically, I don't think they can compete with Ohio State. I don't think they can compete with Oregon. I don't think they can compete with Penn State. Upper level SEC teams. I just don't think that they're there. But when they're playing on a level with a team that's athletically the same as them, they are going to
win. I think I agree. And Kurt and like you said, Mendoza is better than Rourke was last year, and Rourke was pretty good for them. But Mendoza is clearly on a different tier, and that changes things, especially with guys like Surratt outside, who was at James Madison a couple of years ago. Now it's still there, and yeah, he's cooking. So yeah, Indiana's legit, man. Wouldn't surprise me at all if they made the playoff.
Yep, I agree. I totally agree.
One more Week 4 game to run through here. Miami demolished Florida 26-7. This game was actually close in the fourth quarter. Florida had the ball down 6, driving, going into the fourth quarter to go take the lead. They got stopped on a 4th down. 2 immediate touchdowns by Miami after that, and that was all she wrote. Number of the day, Grayson. Care to guess how many 3rd downs Florida converted in this football game?
1. Oh.
It's too high. Yeah. They converted 0. Yeah. The same number as you and I did. This team, I don't know if they've quit because the defense is still like holding Miami to 26. Somehow Chris Ash held them to 27. So not sure how they quite did that. But, you know, to hold this Miami team to 26 is pretty freaking good work by that defense. And to only get 7 points out of that, it's just got to be so deflating. Florida's now 1-3. It's Lagway's in a boot today, according to some people in Florida. It's a problem. They've got a bye week this week, and then they come out and they go home Texas at Texas A&M. Not great. That's the number 9 and 10 team in the country. It's a problem for Florida. Billy Napier will probably not survive this year. Florida's going to be open. That's going to be a wanted job.
Yeah, very much so. Very much so. Especially if DJ Lagway decides that he's hanging it up after this week.
Yeah.
And that he's going to sit out the rest of the season, and they're going to play whoever they, play the backup, and DJ comes back next year. That is going to be a very high in demand spot.
They got their money in order. Obviously, the fans are desperate for some winning there. Like, yeah, I mean, the basketball national title they won is great, but those people still want football glory, and they have not gotten it under Napier. Yeah. So Miami, on the other hand, you were talking about this before we started recording. I think they've got, as you mentioned, you think they've got the best pair of trenches in college football in terms of offensive and defensive line.
Yeah. I mean, it's almost undeniable. If you go look at every single game they've played this year, it's been an absolute and utter domination fest. I mean, they killed Notre Dame's offensive line. Notre Dame couldn't run the ball. There was a reason that Jeremiah Love didn't get the touches he wanted to in that game. And that's because Marcus Freeman said, there is no way we're running on this defensive line. There's no way we're getting any movement on them with the guys that we got. And Miami is not a good matchup up front, offensive line or defensive line, with anybody. I mean, they are good. I mean, they're damn good.
Ruben Bain off the edge. That kid's a problem.
He's the he's the best defensive lineman in college football. Outside of Caleb Downs, he's probably the best defensive player in all of college football right now. So, I mean, I don't know if anybody's better.
I agree. You can't argue it. He's production wise, it's there, man. It's there. So this feels like a different Miami team, but Mario's tough.
You have some hesitations in Carson Beck. His ball velocity is the big chat on Twitter right now about how he looks like he doesn't have it. Like he doesn't have the arm cannon that he had, and his throwing motion isn't the same, and he just doesn't look like he's zipping the ball. So
could it be that he had, what did he have? Like Tommy John in the offseason? So maybe he's just got a little fatigue and needs a bye week to kind of reset a little bit. I could buy that. It was a little wet, so maybe he couldn't get the grip, and you combine that with, feeling a little bit of fatigue. But it was noticeable. The pig he threw out, it was like, ooh, that didn't have any pop on it.
Bad.
Which was a different look from what you got against Notre Dame when he was spinning it. So,
oh God, yeah. Oh, yeah.
It's noticeable. I just wonder if potentially he just needs a bye week to kind of quit throwing for a week and reset everything.
Yeah, well, he better reset quick because they get a bye week, and then they map over to freaking all the way out to Florida State.
All the way to Tallahassee, baby.
Tallahassee. So
that'll be a fun one, man. That'll be a fun one.
Oh yeah, definitely. One other game I want to talk to you about, just because I love the stat lines on this. Michigan, Nebraska. Michigan wins 30-27 in this game. I'm going to give you two significant numbers, Etzel. Okay, the first one being 28. Do you know what 28 is,
Ed? Is that the number of first downs Michigan had?
It's the number of losses in a row Nebraska has to AP top 25 teams.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Second significant number, 18.
18. The number of losses Matt Rule has had in a row to top 25 teams?
His overall record against top 25 teams in college football is 0-18 for Matt Rule.
Heavens to Betsy. Whew.
I don't think he's a bad coach, but statistically, it's not in his favor.
The program builder himself? Oh, my gosh.
It's not in his favor. So,
yikes.
Yep.
Yeah, that was it. I know that game was tied. Like Rayla threw a Hail Mary at half to tie it up. I know it really wasn't back and forth. Michigan, I don't think ever trailed in the game. And it never felt as close as maybe the scoreboard would have indicated, because Nebraska just straight up, I mean, it was a 10 horn. They couldn't stop them. Could not stop them running the football. And
well, Nebraska, you talk about good D lines with Miami. Let's talk about debatably the worst D line in the Big Ten in Nebraska. I mean, I don't know if anybody's worse. Maybe Northwestern, but outside of Northwestern, I don't know if anybody else is worse than this defensive line. They're horrible.
Given the expectations, yeah, I pound for pound, Nebraska's D line is probably the worst.
I mean, almost 300 yards on the ground. I mean, the only team that let that happen this week was Purdue. I mean,
yeah.
But you don't have a pair of backs at Michigan the way that Notre Dame does. You got two freaking hogs running the ball.
Yeah.
So, yeah, just bad. Just Nebraska's bad. Stock is sold. I'm still not there on Michigan because Bryce Underwood's too young for me. But they could show up to they very well could show up to Ohio State with 2 losses on their schedule playing for a playoff spot. So,
very easily. Very, very easily. Notably, Biff Poggi is no longer their head coach. Sharon Moore unsuspended. But Biff was at the helm for 2 weeks. won by 60 against a directional school, and then beat Nebraska on the road. So pretty good couple weeks there for Biff after his Charlotte tenure was not very good. Also not very good, Mike Gundy. Oklahoma State lost to Tulsa last week at home. First time since 1951 that Tulsa beat Oklahoma State in Stillwater. Boo Birds were out. It's like there were people rightly questioning Gundy's job security this week at his presser. Things do not seem good in Stillwater.
Yeah, it's bad. It is as bad as it gets right now for the Cowboys, genuinely. And I think, like we said, I think Mike Gundy is going to find himself on being the guy on Big Noon Kickoff. He's a
Could
front
be.
runner. He's a front runner to be there. Now, I kind of hope, just for the fun and make it entertaining to watch OSU play again, I hope Gundy gets canned sooner than later. And I hope the defensive coordinator, Todd Grantham, takes over as I might have butchered that last name.
No, you got it.
I hope he takes over as the interim head coach, because I want to see blitz, Cowboys blitz, every single play.
They're going to give up 100 points a game.
Blitz, Cowboys blitz.
Oh gosh. In other news, Wisconsin lost at home to Maryland by 17, 27-10. Wisconsin, with their entire history of running the football, being big and downhill grinded out football, ran the ball for 61 yards at 1.45 yards a carry against Maryland at home. Luke Fickell is in deep, deep trouble in Madison. That is, I know Malik Washington, who is Maryland's stud quarterback, true freshman, threw for 265, 2 touchdowns, no picks. But there's no reason for Wisconsin to be losing at home to Maryland by 17 points. That is bad.
There are, respectfully, at least 4 coaches that we will, at this point in time, 4 coaches that will definitely be getting fired, and Wisconsin's is one of them.
Yep, without a doubt. Bill Belichick lost to UCF 34-9. That seems bad. North Carolina notably plays Clemson in 2 weeks in Chapel Hill. That game will be bad. There is no good football coming out of that.
An absolute burner in that game. Who can score 7 points? The winner.
Put that game on Comedy Central.
That might top El Asico this year for least points scored in a football game.
Absolutely. In your neck of the woods, Notre Dame scored 56 points, beat Purdue 56-30. 30 points to Purdue, not very good. I know 7 of those were late and really didn't count, but Notre Dame overs appear to be on the menu. That offense, CJ Carr, cooking.
I think that if CJ Carr didn't get taken out, we probably could have scored 10 or more touchdowns in that game. Genuinely.
Could have been on 80 watch.
There was no stopping that team. But Marcus Freeman is a saint, and he said, "No more belt. We'll let little brother be okay."
Touchdown Jesus was looking on, said, "No, thank you.
Please show mercy."
That's right. Missouri beat South Carolina 29-20. South Carolina was outrushed 285 to -9. That is correct. They had -9 rushing yards the entire game.
South Carolina is just, I mean, they're a problem. They're if you would have told me South Carolina was going to be the worst team in the SEC at the beginning of the year, I would have told you you're an idiot. But I don't think anybody's worse than them.
Maybe Kentucky. Maybe.
Yep, maybe Kentucky. I could get behind that. Even Mississippi State doesn't look too bad this year. Like,
I doubled their win total from last year already.
Yep. They're back.
Washington hung 60 on Washington State, won 59-24 in the Apple Cup. They get Ohio State at home this week. More on that game in a minute. Arizona State beat Baylor 27-24 in Waco. That was a fun game. Baylor's offense was kind of held in check. So Impressive work by Arizona State's defense. Sawyer only had 250 yards passing, considering he'd thrown 400 in most other games. Pretty good work by Arizona State there to come out with a win.
Yeah, they killed my parlay this weekend. Baylor and Temple.
Oh yeah, the Temple Owls scoring with 3 seconds left to cover the spread against GT.
Just unbelievable. Run the football. There's 13 seconds left. Just run the ball. The game's over. Instead, Vegas made a phone call front desk and said, "Ref, if you don't call a PI on this one right here, I swear." I mean,
Temple called 3 timeouts in the last 45 seconds, down 28 points.
What are they doing? No, run the ball. You maybe lose. I had a 12-leg parlay on the line. I lost by 1 leg. Unbelievable.
They signed up for 60 minutes and did not care for your parlay. We will Texas shut out Sam Houston State 55-0. Arch looked pretty good. So that's a good sign there.
Did you think he looked good before or after he stood over top of a poor Sam Houston State player?
Both, honestly.
this is a team that was FCS 2 years ago, Tyler. Being gentle with these guys.
Look, everybody clutching their pearls, being like, "Oh, he's standing over this poor Sam Houston State kid. That guy's on full scholarship. He can stand up for himself. Be a big boy. You're getting paid however many $1 million the school is to go into Austin and play this game. Just take it."
This is how they pay their teams NILs this year.
Exactly. And Arch, for everything he is, has struggled this year, needed to let out a little emotion. You know what? Sometimes you're in the wrong place at the wrong time, buddy. It happens. It's life. Everybody's clutching their pearls. Oh, it's Sam Houston State. Yeah, if your team was massively underachieving and has their chance to get right, you take that chance.
Yeah.
I don't care. Couple others here. What else do we have? Oh, Cal lost to San Diego State a week after beating Minnesota by 13 at home. They got shut out by San Diego State 34-0. God's gift of football, JKS, was not very good in this game.
Yeah, I was about to say you were hyping this guy up for him to throw a goose egg down against San Diego State. Maybe San Diego State's good though. Probably not, but maybe.
Last seen before this game, losing to Washington State by 30, who just lost to Washington by 30, and it's not looking good.
But hey, you know what? I'm kind of big on the dub right now, though. I think Washington is a good football team.
We'll get there in a second, my friend. Last one from last week, Michigan State goes into Los Angeles to play USC. USC wins 45-31. A significant touchdown to some, scored by Michigan State with 2.5 minutes left to cover that spread. So good for Sparty. Good teams win, great teams cover.
USC is fraud. I'm sorry. I don't think they're as good. I don't think they're that good.
Well, we will get to find out this week, my friend, because week 5, they are going on the road. USC is to play Illinois on Big Noon Saturday. Illinois, if their entire secondary is out, I think USC will wax them. If they can get some of the guys back, could be a competitive game. USC, since being in the Big Ten, has not traveled very well. So we'll see.
It's a long drive up to Illinois from there.
That's right. Friday night, TCU goes to Arizona State. Fun Big 12 game there.
Something tells me that one gets weird. Genuinely. Late night game in Arizona State. TCU, Josh Hoover may be a little banged up after his coach was an idiot last week. Yeah, I could see that one getting a little weird. Arizona State maybe catching some footing after a win against Baylor. TCU slightly unproven. Really.
Yeah, because what is SMU this year? I mean, they're already a 2-loss team.
They're a corpse. Their defense is a void. It's horrible.
Yes, it is.
Their defense is horrible.
Yes, it is. A game that myself and Reed will be at, Rutgers at Minnesota. Headed up to the Great North this weekend. Not much to say about that game other than Ethan Kaliak-Manis is returning back to Minnesota. So I'll be interested to see how the very nice people up there treat treat him coming back to town. A game that you will be very interested in. Notre Dame goes to Fayetteville to play Arkansas. Notre Dame's about a 6-point favorite, and the total should be 1 million because there will be a bunch of points in this one.
And I'm all strapped and ready to watch this game live in Fayetteville this weekend.
Yes, you will. Are you you're driving over there, right?
I am. I'm driving up Friday, so we're staying
How
up.
about
We're staying
that?
up in Fayetteville, and we'll hope that Notre Dame scores 70 on Saturday. So
Might need it.
I can't wait to take one of my smaller friends and do 70 overhead presses with him. That'll be great.
You know, just for fun. Take it for a walk.
Yeah, we'll just take it for a walk. Well, there'll be people flying everywhere, all over the stadium. Notre Dame travels.
Oh yeah. There might be 30% of that stadium that's Notre Dame fans.
Notre Dame always travels well.
Arkansas off a loss to freaking Memphis. Yeah, Notre Dame fans might get some good seats in that one.
But let me tell you, this couldn't be a bigger game for Notre Dame because this game, I mean, every game the rest of the year is do or die, but this is the scariest game outside of USC I think we have left.
On the road, early start, could get weird.
Yep.
Could get weird. Ohio State hasn't really been tested since the Texas game. They go to Washington, and one thing about Washington, they cannot play much defense, but boy, can they score the football. I'm worried a little bit because I think Ohio State's defense is very good. Don't get me wrong. But knowing what I now know about the Texas offense and how it functioned for the last 3 weeks, I'm wondering how much of them holding Texas to 7 was Ohio State's defense being very good and Texas's offense being that bad. Ohio State's about a 9-point favorite here on the road. I think Washington's live here. I don't know if they'll win. I think they keep it pretty close, though.
I would agree. It could be a shootout. I mean, I don't know how good. It'll be interesting to see how good Sayin really plays against, if he could step up to the level and play in a shootout game, if this needs to be.
UW's a tough place to play, too, up there in Seattle.
Oh, yeah.
Feels a game like to me that's like 38-31 or 35-31. Pretty high scoring, but close. Yeah. Could see that. A game you were talking about earlier, Auburn goes to Texas A&M, second of a back-to-back road trip after going to Oklahoma. A&M's about a touchdown favorite, and A&M's off a bye, and Auburn's off an emotional game in Norman. It sets up really, really bad for Auburn here. I think A&M wins. I wouldn't be surprised if they won by multiple scores just because it's a bad spot with travel, with the emotions of last game for Jackson Arnold, everything else. I think A&M gets this one.
This would be a very, very good for Notre Dame if Texas A&M comes in here and kind of lights up the scoreboard on them and kind of really brings it to them this week against Auburn. Because everybody's riding high on Auburn's a pretty good football team and Oklahoma's a good football team. And if Texas A&M comes in there and lays the hammer down, it says a whole lot more about how significantly good Texas A&M is rather than how bad Auburn is.
Correct. This 2:30 window on Saturday is elite because at the same time we'll have Ryder Cup going on, have high-level golf. You've got Ohio State, Washington. You've got Auburn, Texas A&M. You've got Indiana at Iowa, and this game could get weird.
Yeah,
because it's in Iowa. Indiana's off that big win, riding high. I could see this game being really close.
Iowa's defense is good. I mean, they're gonna keep you from scoring, so it's a matter of how good Iowa's offense is. And that quarterback has looked horrid. So.
But they were last seen scoring 40 on Rutgers. So maybe Rutgers was the get right for them. Who knows?
Maybe.
Spread there is 7.5, Indiana favorite. I think it's a touchdown game. So I'd lean Iowa. And then LSU travels to Oxford to play Ole Miss. Is Chambliss going to start for Ole Miss? Is it going to be Simmons again, who's been out for the last couple weeks? I mean, Chambliss has done nothing but cook. They destroyed Tulane last week.
Yeah.
And that game probably wasn't even as close as the 35-point margin ended up being. So I mean, if you're Ole Miss, I don't think they can turn away from Chambliss here.
No, I think Chambliss is the starter this week, and I think Ole Miss -1.5 is absolute money.
The only other thing going on here, I don't know if you saw this. So Lane Kiffin's daughter is college-ish aged, right? She's in college. Well, she hard launched on Instagram her relationship with LSU linebacker Whit Weeks today on Instagram. Posted their first public post together. And LSU goes to Ole Miss this weekend. I don't know who's playing mind games here, but it is fascinating.
It's Lane Kiffin recruiting strategy to get the other 2 weeks boys to transfer. I understand.
Could be.
He's got multiple. He's probably got another daughter he could set up.
Probably. And, would it be all that surprising if the daughter's trying to, just make sure that dad gets a big win here, maybe gets a nice little payday? You never know.
Oh man, that'd be something. And you know what? It's a big game against a team that's not Clemson, and they don't suck. And Big Game Brian is going to show his nickname this week.
BGB, baby.
Ole Miss is liable to win by multiple scores. Genuinely, I really do think so. And I'm a hater though, so I hate Brian Kelly. So hate's a strong word. I strongly think Brian Kelly tried to destroy Notre Dame. So I hope his program is forever in turmoil.
This game is a pick'em this week, so pretty much toss up. Headed down the slate a little bit, we get to the night games, which there are also a couple of really good ones there. Under the radar game, Arizona goes to Iowa State. That's a less than a touchdown spread there. Arizona been better than expected. Iowa State off a much needed bye. I don't know. Arizona's been more feisty than I thought. I think Iowa State's better. Concerning game though, because if Arizona's real, they'll show it here.
Yeah.
Then the two big ones. Oregon goes to Penn State. That's a night game. That is Penn State's whiteout. Penn State 3.5-point favorite. Is James Franklin, much like your friend Big Game Brian, going to win a big game, or will little game James show up once again?
This game is one of the most intriguing games of the whole entire weekend for me because I don't know how good either one of these teams are. I think Oregon has a very high-powered offense and they could score a lot of points. Penn State has played absolutely nobody, and Oregon's played absolutely nobody.
And Allers looked like crap. At least Dante Moore's looked good.
Yeah. So it's hard to tell which team is actually good here. If I was to bet on something, I feel like there will be a good amount of points scored in this game. I think that 52 feels like it could go over.
I like that. If I was going to pick a side here, I'd take Oregon in the points. James Franklin is going to have to beat me to officially turn me over. And like I mentioned, Aller has been terrible. Bo Prapula at Missouri has full stop been better than Drew Aller has been this year.
Yep.
So did they keep the wrong quarterback? Many people are wondering. And then the other good night game, Alabama goes on the road to Georgia. Last year's game was memorable. Georgia was down 28-0 in Tuscaloosa. Come all the way back to take the lead just for Ryan Williams to kind of moss everybody, have that signature play and whatnot. Georgia's a field goal favorite here. I trust Georgia in these spots. I don't trust Alabama, but this line is suspicious to me. It's only 3. So I wonder. Gunnar Stockton looked good against Tennessee, but then again, Syracuse also hung almost 30 on Tennessee. So I don't know. I truly don't.
I think Bama's defense is a little bit better than Tennessee's defense, but I don't think Bama's offense is anywhere near where Tennessee's is. This game is really interesting because all I can see in my mind is watching Florida State just do whatever the hell they wanted to. And I hope if I'm Georgia, I'm thinking a very similar game plan to what Florida State ran. So
run the piss out of it?
Yeah. I mean, that's what I would do. I'm not a huge Gunnar Stockton fan, and I don't love him in big spots. So I would run.
They got to protect him. They got to protect him, and running the football is the best way to do that.
100%.
If I had to pick a side here, I'd actually probably go under. I think this game, like you said, I think Georgia's going to try to run this thing down because last year we saw Bama with turnovers and otherwise, like they got up 28-0. It was, I mean, I know Georgia came back and took the lead, but Georgia can't spot Bama 28 points. And Gunnar Stockton, big spot here. Ty Simpson on the road in an even tougher environment than Florida State was. I think they try to force him to make the mistakes. I think this game's going to be like 28-17, something. I don't think it's in the 30s. So I'd take the under if given a choice.
Yeah, I could totally agree with that.
I guess the only other thing next week, we can talk about it a little bit. Ryder Cup is here. I can't wait. Friday, Saturday, Sunday. We've got 2 sessions each on Friday and Saturday with alternate shot and 4-ball. And then Sunday, of course, singles. U.S. is favored to win the Ryder Cup. They have not lost a home Ryder Cup since 2012. I think they win again. It's just Europe. I like that team a lot. Some of the dudes on there are playing some golf. Like Rory won recently. Fleetwood won recently. Rahm's been playing well all year. You know what I think about Ludwig and Hovland and them. Like, that's a good squad, man.
It's going to be hard to beat. It's going to be hard to beat Scheffler. It's going to be hard to beat Bryson. It's going to be hard to beat. And I hate to say it because I really just don't like him, but J.J. Spawn is playing some outrageously good golf. Quote me if I'm wrong. Rosie's on the team, right?
Yeah, he's on that team.
He's been playing outstanding as well. So, I would have liked it if Captain would have picked himself, but Keegan Bradley would have picked himself. But
see, that's the only reason I'm picking Team USA is because he didn't.
Really?
Yeah, I think if he picked himself, it would have been too much pressure on him. Him not picking them himself, he can go to his team this week and be like, "Look, I would have wanted nothing more than to play on this team, but I sacrificed for you." So what are you going to do?
Instead, he picked Colin Morikawa, who's probably had his worst season on the PGA Tour thus far.
Who's been absolutely feeble. You are correct.
Yes, but maybe it's a turning point for him. Maybe he gets confidence back this weekend.
It could be. It could be. If gun to my head, there's 28 points available. I think Team USA wins like 15-13. I think it's a close one. I think it'll come down to singles late on Sunday.
I like that. And I think if it comes down to Sunday and it comes down to singles, I think that Europe's in trouble. Genuinely. I think we have better individual golfers, but in pairs, I think that it could lead to trouble with those guys.
Yeah, because you've got Bryson trying to play all shot with somebody, and you've got some of the other loose cannons who can't hit fairways all the time. Depending on what they do to Bethpage with the rough, like you could just be out of holes early if you're in the rough and Europe's in the fairway. So I'm kind of there with you. Like in alt shot, I think Europe's probably going to win those sessions. I think that Team USA will win whenever they're playing their own ball, which is best ball, the 4 balls, and then singles. So yeah, give me USA in a close one.
Oh gosh, Ed. I'm obviously taking Team USA as well, but John Rahm scares me in games in like these kind of competition settings where it's not playing like based off your individual score and you don't have to play 4 really good rounds of golf. John Rahm is liable to just do crazy stuff in the Ryder Cup every single time he plays it. So he is a terrifying man.
It seems like he was disinterested a lot this year. Maybe some of that was live, and he wasn't super competitive in any of the majors really outside of the PGA. If there's one thing that's going to get his spark back, it's probably playing for Team Europe.
Yeah, I agree. I totally agree.
So it'll be fun though. I can't wait to watch it. I'll be tuned in Friday, obviously trying to get some work done, but we'll have one eye on the Ryder Cup for sure that day. Saturday morning, me and Reed will be running around the city of Minneapolis, trying to sneak into the barn up there,
Let's
go
go.
out tailgate with the Midwesterners, try to throw back some beers with them in the morning. That'll be a good time. And then Sunday, we're locked in, baby.
It's liable to get weird in Fayetteville, man, because you got 11 a.m. kickoff, and then you have absolute bangers all night. Hopefully we can find ourselves a nice little bar, nice little brewery or something to sit on down in, have some beers, and finish off some football for the afternoon after. Hopefully, if Notre Dame loses, we're going right back to the house and everybody's going to bed. Everybody to bed. I might drive home from if we lose. It might be
You will
straight
not.
back. It might be straight back from Fayetteville right back to the casa. 3.5 hours later.
You'll be booking that B&B for another night so you can drink your pain away.
It'll be Grayson 1v1 with a bottle of Rumplemints.
Oh gosh, Rumplemints. That's you're in for a night there, my friend.
I saw those videos. Yeah, sorry, this is completely off topic. I saw the videos on TikTok where the guys go, "Why are you so locked in this week?" And it's like a UTSA player playing Texas or something. And it was a guy that said, "Why are you so locked in this week?" And it scrolled to the next thing, and it said 7 p.m. kickoff, and it had a picture of him and a bottle of Rumplemints on the other side.
I've seen some of those. Those have had me dying.
That's hilarious.
Good weekend. Both of us will be on location next week. That'll be exciting, man. We'll have to game recaps will be fun next week.
Yeah, they'll be ideal. This will be the third time in the last 3 years I've seen Arkansas play. So
yeah, how about that?
We've been big on the Arkansas Razorbacks for the last couple of years. So.
We have. And early look at the weather for Minneapolis this week. It's going to be 75 and sunny on Saturday. The boys could not ask for a better day to go tailgate and throw back some brews.
Reed wanted to go to Rutgers instead of Ohio State next week, or what? He said.
I guess there's some other factors going on there. Well, I don't know if he's. We'll leave it at that.
Okay. Oh, jeez.
Well, let's get out of here, dude. I got dinner to cook. So appreciate y'all listening and hanging out with us. We'll be back next Sunday to recap all the action, talk a little Ryder Cup, a little college ball. One thing before you go. Did you see Jordan Davis run that kickback yesterday for Philly to cover the spread against against the Rams?
I did. Talking about that, I'm actually in a death match right now in fantasy football. So, yeah, not looking good. Not looking.
Gotta go tend to your squad. Fire them up here at halftime.
Well, the Ravens have scored 7 points in the first half, so my kicker needs 9, and I have 1 right now. So
we need field goals for Mr. Loop.
Yeah, I need
3 at a time.
I need 3 of them quickly. My chances have gone down to a 22% chance of winning now. Oh no.
We need 3s, Mr. Harbaugh. Field goals. 3 at a time.
Either that or we need freaking 8 touchdowns. One of the two.
The easy way or the hard way?
Send help.
All right, brother. Thank y'all for listening. We'll see you next time. Until then, peace out.